Okay, so first of all, Jayne, thanks so much for giving us your time and being here on your Wednesday night. That's fantastic. So thank you.
That's all good.
All right, cool. So how about we start super simple with, I guess a brief rundown of your story and, the results that you've gotten over the last 4 or 5 months or so. And then I'll ask you a bunch of questions from there so we can kind of dig into how you made those changes and see what other people can learn from your experience.
Okay. So in February, I started my big weight loss journey. My goal is to lose 53 kilos. I weighed in on Monday night and I have now lost 40 kilos. So
Wow.
I've got 13 to go. So
Awesome.
I'm on the countdown now.
Fantastic. So it was in February you made that decision, and you've been training with us for quite a while before then, right?
Yeah, I've been with you guys for 4 years. I first joined because of being overweight, and I had really bad back pain because of it.
Mm-hmm.
So most of my time with PEPT, I've been strengthening my back just to be able to even exercise.
Yep.
Then I was finally pain free, and then I started concentrating on the weight loss. So
cool. Okay, fantastic. So what was the change in you in February? Was it a decision that you made, or like something changed for you to be like, right now I'm really going to go for it? Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I had my 4th child, and it freaked me out thinking that I wasn't going to be able to keep up with the 4 of them. And I thought I need to do something now. Like I've always wanted to lose the weight, so stop the excuses, in other words.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you got really clear on your motive. In other words,
sure.
like, a reason why. And before then, it was kind of like, I'd like to do it, but then you made a decision that you have to do it.
Well, that's it. And because I wasn't in pain, so I didn't have anything holding me back anymore.
Cool. Great. That's fantastic. Okay. So you got clear, like I must change, and then you set a goal, like I'm going to lose X amount of kilos. Okay. That's fantastic.
Well, so Alice set out a 28-day challenge just to get us oldies who have been at boot camp for a long time motivated again.
Yep.
And when she said that, I thought, perfect, that's for me.
Cool.
And when I seen the eating plan, I thought, I can do this.
Yeah.
So that from that day one, I haven't stopped.
Fantastic. Okay, you just kept going on the 28. It's been a lot longer than 28 days now.
Yeah, it has. I'm on like week 24, I think.
Wow, awesome. That's great. Okay, fantastic. So let's get into like the nuts and bolts of it and talk about what you actually changed. What were the biggest changes? So from before you made that decision in February and after, like, so in terms of exercising, psychology, like daily habits, anything you've been doing different, and food wise, let's just start going through the things that you've changed and how you've actually done it.
Okay, so the biggest one of all would have to be my mindset.
Cool.
Like not living through excuses, just doing it.
So taking ownership.
Yes. Another one is the eating.
Yep. Let's stick with the mindset, if you don't mind, and then we'll get to eating next. Yeah. Cool. So was it something that happened, or like what made you decide to take ownership? And like, so before you had a pattern of making excuses, what you're telling me there, and then you made a decision like, all right, no more excuses. And, you've raised your standards of what is acceptable in your life, right? What you can accept from yourself. So before you would accept mediocre, excuses, etc., and now you don't accept that. So was there something that happened, or is there anything that you can shed light on that one?
I guess I just, like, the weight has always held me back from things that I've been wanting to do. And I guess I felt I was getting sick of it controlling my life. I wanted to take control of my life, not the weight. So I knew the steps I had to take and I had all the support. So I thought, we'll just do it.
Cool. I love it. Yeah, just do it. All right. So would it be fair to say that before making that decision, some days you would not feel like exercising or you would not feel like eating healthy, and you would allow your lack of motivation on those days to kind of allow you to accept lower standards? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that happened a lot.
But now I'm assuming you still have days where you don't feel super motivated all the time, but I'm assuming that you also go and do the work that you have to do or eat the food that you have to eat anyway.
Yeah, well, because I've learned new things. So I've learned that when I am having those flat days, that actually going and exercise gives me the motivation.
Great.
So, yeah.
Okay, so you've changed the meaning. This is a really interesting thing, okay, because ultimately there's no such thing as reality, right? Reality is our perception, right? It's all made up, right? So you can look at the same thing I look at and we see two different things, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So let's say pre-February, you having a lack of motivation, you might have created a meaning that says, you know, I'm too tired to exercise, or I'm, blah, 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 blah. It's a sign that I shouldn't exercise today, right?
Yeah.
Now you're like, it's a sign that I need to exercise. I need to boost my energy. That's great. So
that's exactly.
Yeah. Change the meaning, and you've got what's called a new Neuro Association, which is...
and I'm actually finding that I'm loving it now. It doesn't feel like a chore. Yeah.
Great. Okay, great. So you've learned to love it. And would you agree that it's easier to do something that you love rather than chores?
Oh, yes. And I've even joined 2 fun runs.
Yeah, awesome. Were they fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they were fantastic.
Cool. I love it. So I'll come back and we can share a little activity that people can do. Because again, like what you love and what you hate is all perception. All right. So for example, what you've done there is learn to love something that you used to not like at all. Right.
Yeah.
Which is eating great healthy foods and exercising. Right. So basically all that is our perception of how's this serving my highest values. Okay. So I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark and say your highest values are your kids, right? Your most important thing in your life, okay, based on what you were saying earlier. So before, you didn't have this connection around being healthy and, that benefiting your kids, right? You probably had all these other connections like I have to do everything for my kids to be a good mum, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. I'm a mind reader, Jayne. But now you've got this new meaning, I guess we could say, that means I have to be healthy and happy and be the best version of myself and look after myself so that I can be the best mom and be the best role model for my kids, right?
Yeah.
So you've changed your perception of what exercise and eating healthy actually means, and you've related it back to your highest values, even though you probably did this without thinking about it. Everyone who's watching this back can actually, I guess, hack that process, and that's how we get more motivation, okay? So people might look at you right now and say, wow, she's so motivated, right? I bet people say that to you all the time.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Oh, you're so motivated. Ah.
Yeah.
And I wish I was motivated. Well, instead of wishing we were motivated, we can actually learn the lesson from you. And we need to figure out what's our highest value in our life, okay? Whether that be your career, your family, your impact to the community, whatever it is. And you're simply going to relate that to the goal that you want to achieve, okay? So for me, exercising, I don't have kids, so it's not about being a great role model for my kids. It's about being a great role model for my team and being the best leader, okay? Because that's really important to me. And that's what motivates me, even though I don't want to exercise all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Cool. All right. I love it. That's awesome. Okay. So that's the mindset stuff. Anything else that you can think of in terms of mindset? Have you been doing any daily habits or anything like that you can think of?
For a start, when I was like finding it quite hard, for example, I used to go to the supermarket when I was hungry, and I would overspend big time on junk food. So what I set out for myself to do is I'd start walking to the supermarket so that I knew I only could carry so much.
Nice.
And I would only take enough money for the things that I needed. That way I couldn't buy extras. So I did that probably for the first, I don't know, 6 weeks until I was strong enough.
Cool.
So
I like that.
Something.
Great idea. Yeah, you can't walk back with more than you can carry.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Beautiful. I like that one. Okay, cool. And that's a really good little tip, whether you do it exactly like that or, you know, you just make sure you have a list before you go to the shops and you don't go outside of your list, whatever works for you, but you've made a plan. So there's a great book. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, Jayne, or people listening, but if you want to be successful in any area of your life, there's a great book you should read called Willpower Doesn't Work. Okay. In other words, you knew that if you went to the shops with your car and your credit card, that you might succumb and your willpower might give out, right?
Yeah.
So you change your environment so that you couldn't do that, right? So it's like, if you want to give up smoking, don't walk around with a pack of cigarettes in your pocket.
Yeah.
Right. So you did. That's really great. I like that. And
well, it was like drinking alcohol too. I gave that up as well. So I stopped going places where I knew it would be a temptation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so that's a great example of changing your environment to make success inevitable, right? If you're trying to give up gambling, you know, stay away from the casino.
Yeah.
Right? Change your environment so that it's not a temptation. All right, that's fantastic. Okay, so let's go over to the food. How about we talk about food next and walk us through kind of what you changed there. You mentioned the supermarket thing, so that's a great start. And like, what kind of were you eating certain foods before that you don't eat now, and like what rituals and habits have you got in with the food?
Okay, so I was eating a lot of takeaways, like, you know, so sweets and chocolate, and that's not really my downfall.
Yep.
My downfall was like hot chips and carbs and pasta, like all cheesy things, you know.
Yeah.
So basically, I cut all that out completely. I stuck to the PEP food plan.
Yep.
And I even cut out carbs as well so that it would stop me craving hot chips and, you know, stuff. And I also didn't allow me any food treats because I feel that if I did, I would go backwards. I wouldn't be strong enough to stay on track. So it's like
harder to, if you just eaten chocolate, it's like A, hard to stop it, but B, you're going to be more tempted tomorrow to eat it again because it's like fresh in your mind and, you know, easier to
Whereas
cut it out completely.
If I cut it out altogether, at least I know, you know, as much as I struggled that day with doing that, the next day will be easier.
Yeah.
But instead I treat myself with things like, you know, go get my hair done or.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because with, you know, changing our nutrition, we or a lot of people still keep the food treats as a thing, but imagine if we're giving up smoking, like went 7 days without smoking, like, oh great, I'll smash a packet tonight to celebrate. Like it's the ridiculous thing ever, isn't it?
That is exactly. And if I would have done that, I know myself, and the next day I would have thought, oh, one more won't hurt.
Yeah.
So I just thought, no, just cut it out altogether.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I think for most people that works. And what you've done there, no doubt, is reframed what, again, we've got new meaning around what junk food is. Like before it was a reward, like a good thing. Now it's like, well, if I eat that junk food, I'm not being the best role model to my kids, or I'm not doing the best by them. So why would I lower my standards to that level?
And it's that bad circle you get in.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. Okay, so I think the lesson that's come through a couple of times here is change your meaning around things. Okay, so You did it around the decision and the mindset, and you did it around the food as well. And, you know, eating healthy can be the reward for you, because you're actually nourishing your body and caring for your body, as opposed to before you got a reward from eating, you know, some hot chips.
Yeah, and like especially when I'm seeing that weight loss, that's the biggest reward.
Yeah, 100%. Great. That's fantastic. Okay. So you got away from all the takeaways and fried foods and the high carb foods. And you mentioned before, you know, when you basically lowered your carbs a lot, which has enabled you to not get carb cravings.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
So obviously I'm still having, you know, my veggies and that, but nothing like potatoes, pasta.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. And for someone listening who maybe doesn't know what she's talking about, if you eat carbs, there's a hormone called insulin that'll get released into your bloodstream that'll regulate your blood sugar levels. In other words, it'll bring it down, but it won't bring it down to perfect. It'll usually bring it down lower than perfect, and then you're going to crave carbs to get it back up again. So it's like the insulin seesaw, up and down, up and down. And that's why people get in those carb craving cycles. Okay, so to change that, we put a lot more proteins, healthy fats, and fibrous vegetables into the diet. And what that does is stabilize the blood sugar level so you don't get those cravings. And that's how we lose a lot of body fat in a short amount of time. Okay, so it's really as simple as that. As you get leaner, you can reintroduce more carbohydrates into the system, good carbohydrates, not, you know, not a bag of, you know, chips or whatever, but good quality carbohydrates with different fruits and veggies and things like that, because your body becomes more insulin sensitive as you get leaner, right? And your muscles become healthier. And what that means is your body gets much better at regulating the blood sugar without dumping heaps of insulin into the system. Okay, so just a little side note to everybody. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah.
Did that make sense to you, Jayne?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, fantastic. So let's say an example of a typical meal now versus a typical meal pre-February.
Okay, so dinner now, so I did a double session of boxing tonight, and normally I would come home and I wouldn't have any tea ready or that, so I'd always stop at KFC on the way home.
Right.
Yeah, but
just tonight, to celebrate your boxing.
Yeah, pretty much, or just more. Oh, I can't be bothered cooking.
Convenience.
I'll just get takeaways. Yeah. So, but tonight it will be steamed fish, baby carrots, and broccoli.
Yeah.
For dinner tonight. That's what's on the menu. So.
Perfect.
Massive change. And also I used to at least drink, I'm embarrassed to say, but probably like 2 cans of Coke with dinner each night. Yep. And now I don't drink any fizzy. If I do, it's a sparkling water.
Yeah, great. Okay, so
if I'm craving fizzy.
If you crave it, you've got a new substitute now that's much better for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, that's fantastic. So and then exercise, you've been pretty good at exercising is my understanding. Like that's never been the big issue for the last 4 years.
To be honest, I did used to go to a lot of sessions, but I never used to give them my all.
Right,
I kind of used to go and I'd think, oh, my back's too sore, or I was like getting sick of alternatives and I don't know, just negative as well. But now each session I go to, I'm like you told me to do those extras when the time runs out, do the extra reps. I've been doing that and I'm loving it, and I'm actually smashing out the sessions, not just kind of showing up.
Yeah, so you've taken them to the upper level or two. And that's interesting. Hang on a second. Every time someone new joins and it's unmuted, it always makes noise. So that's really interesting, and a really common piece of advice that I find myself giving when people hit a plateau is just push a little bit harder, all right? Because, you know, it sounds simple, but most of us get into some kind of a comfort zone with our training, don't we? So starting out, it's really, really hard, but then after a while, you get into your little groove, which is fairly comfortable, and you stop pushing your body, and therefore your body doesn't have to adapt anymore. And when it doesn't have to adapt, it's not going to change. Okay, so that extra little bit in each session, which comes from that extra little bit of effort or the extra couple of reps, really does add up over time. Okay, so a little bit extra. Sorry, Jayne, I didn't hear what you said. You cut out there.
Oh, so that's what helps you to stop plateauing, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you'll find that a lot of people, when they plateau, it's because they've been in their comfort zone for quite a while, just kind of going through the motions a little bit. Even though you feel like you're working hard, if you really think about it, you could go 10, 20%, harder or...
Okay, well, you're doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it sounds like you've kind of taken that to the next level as well. And whenever you've got someone achieving such incredible results in a short amount of time like this, it's never because you've just done one thing. It's not because I just took a teaspoon of sugar out of my coffee every day and now I only have one sugar instead of two. Like, you're not going to lose 40 kilos with something so small. So you've made massive changes in your life, which is why you're getting massive results. Yeah, which I think is another lesson in itself to everybody watching. Your results are going to be proportional to the amount of action you take, for sure. Okay, let's kind of loop back around and just summarize and see if you can think of anything else that might be helpful to everyone, Jayne. But basically, you've lost 40 kilos so far, and it all started from a change in your decision. Okay, so you made a decision that my current situation is not good enough and I want better. And you want better because, you just had your fourth child and you made a decision that, hey, I need to be a role model for them and I need to be able to keep up with them and have lots of energy and, be super fit and, be the mum that they need, right? Something like that.
Yep, definitely.
Those exact words for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. You made massive changes to your eating. You're going from eating lots of takeaway, chips and other things like that, KFC and blah, 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 to now eating really meat and veggie based, for your main meals, getting your good proteins in, lots of vegetables. And,
lots of eggs.
Lots of eggs, yeah, cool. I'm a big egg eater myself. The mindset's been the biggest shift for you, taking ownership over everything in your life and all the results that you're getting and taking control. And you've changed the meaning on a lot of things. So you used to use food as a reward for things, whereas now you reward yourself in other ways that are actually beneficial to your health.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. I love it. And lots of little things I imagine that you've changed in your day apart from the walking to the supermarket. Have there been any other rituals or daily habits, things like that you've changed?
So self-talk. That's a massive one.
Tell us about that.
Especially when I'm having my bad days, where I feel like all I'm doing is craving sugar. I'm basically feel like I'm losing my mind trying to stay on track. I tell myself, what is harder, today or being overweight? So I always say to myself, being overweight is being the hardest thing. So get over it and just do something about it, and then I'll go for a walk and then it quickly gets better. So self-talk is a big one. Okay,
that's amazing. So there's two key things what you've just done there. I just want to break it down so other people can, replicate it in their own way, because it might be slightly different for them. But the first thing that you did is you asked yourself a great question. Okay. So basically there's no happy people, or this is my belief anyway. Other people might have different beliefs, but all beliefs have consequences. And my belief is that there are no happy people and sad people. All right. There are just people who have trained themselves very well in either one of those states. Okay. So in other words, is even the happiest people are sad sometimes, and even the saddest people or the least motivated people are motivated and happy at times, right? In other words, we have these states we can be in. And most people are in their states because of the world, right? And they haven't learned to control their state. So what you've just described there is really, really important. It's about controlling your state, and there's two ways you can control your state. The first one is by changing your focus. Okay, so you've changed your focus by asking a question. When you're feeling unmotivated, and you ask yourself the question, what's harder, doing some exercise or being overweight for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
So you've changed your focus, because if you just focused on, if you ask yourself the question, why am I so lazy today? Your brain is going to go and find you all the reasons. Because you're useless, because you suck, because blah, 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 blah. And you're just going to stay unmotivated, right? But and it's just like Google, all right? But if you ask yourself, what's harder? Actually, it's much harder to be overweight, so I'm going to go exercise, okay?
Yeah.
And the second way to change your state is by changing your physiology. That just means changing your body, okay? Because when we're unmotivated and depressed, are we standing tall and proud and like looking strong, or are we like, hunched over, feeling slack, talking slow, etc., etc., etc.? So what you said is you changed your focus by asking a question, and then you went for a walk, or you went to boot camp or whatever. So you changed your focus, you changed your physiology, and then therefore you started feeling great. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And you've kind of done that, I guess, fairly naturally, but now that you understand it, hopefully that helps even more. But for everyone else at home, you can control how you feel. And it's my belief that only you decide how you feel, right? So I could call Jayne names right now, but like nasty names if I wanted to, but only she could decide if she allowed that to make her feel bad, right? Just like you can, wake up not feeling fantastic one day, but you can choose to change that. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody listening. All right. Now.
Sorry, my phone's just.
That's okay. Oh, good. Now, Jayne, anything else that you reckon would be beneficial? Like what else, anything else that you're doing on a daily basis that's changed a lot?
Sorry, my phone cut out. Can you
all good.
the question?
Yeah. The question is there anything else that you think would be beneficial? Anything else that you've changed that we haven't covered yet that you can think of?
I also started walking every day. I made sure that I wasn't driving the kids to school. I was getting them up ready and walking to school every day.
Oh, I love it. So more like incidental exercise.
And that way my kids are getting exercise as well.
Great. And you're teaching them some lessons.
Yeah.
How's that been? Have you been explaining that to your kids about your journey and what you're doing, why you're doing it?
Yep, I tell them everything. I even show them because I do my weigh-in every Monday at 5 p.m.
Cool.
And I show them the results. I like it because I'm rubbing off on my teenager who loves junk food. But lately he's been going to his friend's house and doing weight sessions, and he's been walking to his league training, wanting me to wake him up early for runs. So I'm happy that I'm rubbing off on him.
Yeah, that's amazing. And no matter what we say to them, they're always going to follow our example, aren't they? More so than our words. So, mate, that's awesome. I just want to give you a big high five for your amazing efforts, but also for coming on tonight and sharing your story with us and opening up and giving us some hugely valuable information, which is fantastic. So I really love it. And we're going to throw this up on Facebook tomorrow morning, and we're going to email this out. Do you want to know how many people are going to get the email about this and click on your video?
How many?
It's going to get emailed out to 30,000 people tomorrow.
Oh my God. Can you at least edit it?
Well, I'll put one of those Snapchat filters on you so you have the funny glasses and the the headdress as well.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
Jayne, thanks so much. It's been awesome. And thanks everybody else for tuning in, and apologies for the technical hiccups with Facebook, but we got there in the end. And I think probably got a better quality video using the Zoom in the end anyway. So that's fantastic. So Jayne, thanks so much. You're a legend.
Cool.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Good luck with that last 13.
Yeah.
You'll get it. You'll nail it. All right.
I have to.
You will. Thanks, mate. Been awesome. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
Bye-bye.